is the Thursday, July 7th, 2025, Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Commission meeting. So we are open. Are we ready to be recording? Are we ready?
Yeah.
With your permission, we're open. Okay. Thank you very much. Would you take the roll, please?
Yeah. Commissioner Badgepine,
Here.
Commissioner Chowry,
Here.
Commissioner Glenn. Here. Commissioner Hayes. Here. Commissioner Huffman,
Here.
Commissioner Miletus.
Here.
Commissioner Minty.
She's absent today.
Commissioner Warren. Here. Chair Doherty.
Here. I would also entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the June 26, 2025 commission meeting. Anybody so inclined? Yes.
Then we approve the minutes.
Yes, Commissioner, please. Moved. We have a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? We take the roll, please.
Commissioner Badgepine,
Yes.
Commissioner Chowry,
Yes.
Commissioner Glenn. Yes. Commissioner Hayes.
Yes.
Commissioner Huffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Miletus.
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Yes.
Chair Doherty.
Yes. So is Lisa on?
Yes.
Welcome, Lisa.
Yes, thank you.
Give us a construction update.
Yes. Yes, thank you. For the record, my name is Lisa Bertram. I'm the Distilled Spirits Director for OLCC. Have an update on Project Meadowlark, which is our Canby Warehouse and Distribution Center project. So last time I talked to the commission, we had a risk area, which was our permanent power. I am happy to announce we did get our will serve letter from the city of Canby. That was going to give us permanent power. We received that on July 1st. This was a big win for us. This is something that we were really trying to get and something that we really needed. And so very, very happy to announce that we got that in hand. There is still a little bit of a risk area here in that, like I said, the Canby utility gave us the will serve letter. The total power they would allow was 6 megawatts. We only needed 2.1 megawatts. The letter itself started that the targeted completion date for full power was June 30th, 2026, and we actually need power ahead of that. We need permanent power in April of 2026. So as of right now, we're still, pushing on schedule to make sure that we can get all of the things in place to get permanent power. Really, that just means, transmission lines, power poles on site, that kind of thing. So we have, reached out to Canby Utility. They're moving forward with procurement on all the things they need as far as the infrastructure for permanent power. And so, again, just making sure that we can get power on site when we need it. There is temp power there now. And so if we do, need to use temp power for a short amount of time, we can do that. So this isn't a huge risk area anymore, but there is still a date that we need to hit to make sure we have things on site. As far as the other on-site activities happening now, we're still working on slab pours. I believe I told you about this last time. So pouring, there's a bunch of different slabs that we have to pour. Also working on our tilt panels. Those are going to be the sides of the building. So really getting all the prepping for that. So they do these casting slabs in the ground, which is where they pour those panels before they tilt them up. So getting ready for that work as well. We do have a known project risk on the slab work. So when they started pouring the slabs 1 through 4 had some issues with the surface. They had some surface cracking. And so they originally, when they did slabs 1 through 4, the mix wasn't quite right for what they needed. What they've done now is they've, refigured out what the mix should be. So we're as a OLCC, we're going to reject those slabs 1 through 4, meaning they're going to have to correct them in order to move forward with that area. So we don't want to just keep going with those slabs. We need to make sure they get corrected. That could be a schedule risk in the future. As of right now, they have figured out the mix, so they're continuing to pour slabs. The new slabs, slab 5 went in the ground. No issues today with that. And so their slab schedule is going to remain on schedule. So they'll continue to pour the rest of the slabs. And then at some point, they're going to have to go back and mitigate those first 1 through 4 slabs and correct them. And that could be an extension of the schedule. This is just the slab, the map. So kind of give you an idea what I'm talking about, those green areas at the bottom. This is in the bottom right-hand lower corner, that's slab 1. So 1 through 4 is along that whole bottom side of this map. Those are the 4 that need to be corrected. Slab 5 is then up on the left-hand side. That's the one that is good. So as they continue, they'll start next with the orange bits and then get into the yellow part in the middle. Once they're done with all of the slab work, then they can start doing the tilt-up panels, which will sit kind of on the outside of the slab. This is what that looks like today at the site. These slabs on the outside here, kind of down in the bottom, those are the casting slabs that are going to be used for the tilt-up panels. So that's not actually part of the building. Once the tilt-up panels are done, they'll actually remove those slabs, so they won't remain in sight. These are the slabs they actually use to try to figure out the mix for the rest of the slabs. So they were able to really like use these as testing slabs as well to get that mix right. Other pictures from on site. On the left is the footing. So all in the warehouse, there's footings and columns every 50 feet or so. And so those footings go down into the ground. On the right is the forms for the slab. So they do a grading and then rebar and then pour the concrete on that. Left is going to be the SOG pour, which is slab on grade. So slab pour 6 is going down, and then they do the smoothing on top of it. And then on the right is our storm tech. So all of the water on site has to stay on site. And so we have an underground retention through these yellow, these are like storm retention, like tunnels. And that's where our water actually is on site. So we don't have like a retention pond. It's all underwater, or sorry, underground. Last thing to hit here is our last known project risk, which is our MHS, which is our material handling system. That's the conveyance that runs through the building. We have upgraded our material handling system to use a little bit of higher quality part. We have a certain part in the warehouse today, and we have some issues with it. So move to a higher quality part that will be kind of a long-term part. So, that will last, 15, 20, 30 years. Because the lead time on procurement, there is a little bit of a schedule risk. We are not exactly sure what that is today, but we're working through that right now. Once we actually procure those parts, then we'll get an actual time. Had a meeting recently to talk about mitigation efforts to keep us on schedule. So I think it's important here to talk about the building itself is on schedule. And so no matter what happens with the MHS, we'll continue to be on schedule with that and may need to make some adjustments down the road to make sure we get the material handling system in place. We do have a blackout date, which is in September of 2026, just ahead of our busy season. So we don't want to be moving into a building right when we're trying to distribute for the holidays. So making sure that we understand what that is and mitigate any schedule risks associated. And then the last thing is our racking. So racking is really where we do all the storage in the warehouse. So all of the cases that are not being distributed actively in a pick module are going to be in a rack somewhere. There's different types of racking that we're using or storage. So we got some updated inventory numbers to better understand our inventory. So we don't keep the same amount of every item. We keep more of certain items than others. So understanding what type of racking we need, and we're reconfiguring all of our racking now to better understand the layout. Because of that, there's some budget risk dependent on the type of racking we choose. So with that, we're also going through an exercise where we're getting an inspector to come in and look at our current racking to see if we can reutilize some of that in the new space. That will obviously save us money. There'll be a little bit to relocate it, but we shouldn't have to buy as much brand new racking. And then we can phase that out in the future as our needs change over the next 5, 10, 15 years. This is just a high level of what this looks like. So this yellow area in the front, that's all the material handling system and the conveyors. Behind it, these lines here are the pick lines or the pick modules. That's where the cases get picked from to get onto the conveyors. And then the green and the yellow is all the racking. And this is all not day one stuff. So this is where we're trying to determine how much racking do we actually need on day one. And then we can, again, add stuff later as that comes up. Any questions on the warehouse build or where we're at right now?
Sure. First of all, congratulations on getting the will serve letter. That it would have only, had we not got that, it would have only delayed us by about 7 years. Is that what
Yeah, it was a 4 to 7 year to rebuild infrastructure in the city of Canby. So we were very much hoping that our small load would not be an issue. So we were very, very excited to get that in hand.
Well, good job on that. And then when we make these changes, that you got some, what you say, some higher quality stuff that, and are we paying for that, or is that part of the guaranteed maximum price, or do we?
Yep, it's all built in. So we have the material handling system itself is a $24 million budget for all of it, right? So as we make these changes, we have to adjust the budget to ensure that we stay in that $24 million. We're not going over that. So that's part of the guaranteed maximum price. And that's where this is where the racking comes into place. Like if we can get less racking to make sure we can get these higher parts, that's really the important bit here. So yeah, we're tight on budget, but we're definitely staying in budget.
Great, thank you. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else? Commissioner Shore, you were looking very questionable on there.
No questions, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. So the other thing on the agenda is our pricing analysis working group. So this is where we're putting together a group to look at pricing. So we're getting an independent fiscal analysis to look at OLC's pricing, really our pricing strategy, a pricing model, how we price liquor or distilled spirits, what goes into that formula, lots of different things. The surcharge, it obviously goes into that formula as well. So we have put a request out through our state procurement. It has a statement of work of what we need from that independent analysis. That, like I said, is going through procurement now. We'll be advertising a solicitation for that work probably in the next couple of weeks. And so by next month's meeting, I should have an update for you on where we are on that project as well.
Great.
Any questions there? It's pretty high level right now, but we have started the process.
Fantastic. This was an important discussion and it's important to get the work right. So thank you for all you guys have done.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Lisa.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Take care. Then we have a distilled spirits product listing and delisting process. Mark, there we are. Let's see you there. How are you? Nice to see you again.
You too. Good morning, Chair Doherty and the rest of the commission. So for the record, my name is Mark Avent. I'm the Business Services Assistant Director. I oversee the Business Services Department within the Distilled Spirits Program. I'm here today to share with the Commission OLCC's process for listing and delisting products here in Oregon. So starting off with the listing meeting that we hold. So a listing meeting is basically a place where suppliers can present the OLCC up to 3 items at a time to a committee of liquor store owners. Those liquor store owners would then approve or deny the items. So that process is held 5 times a year. We go January through September. We don't do any from October on. That's our busy season, so we start up again in January. The 6 liquor store owners, there's one from each district, so every corner of Oregon is represented. So every voice matters here for the committee. Each year, 6 new liquor store owners are selected. That way we get a diversity of owners from each of the districts every year. So we get a new perspective for everything. So the listing meeting is for new and existing suppliers. So if there are some new suppliers here in that they want to get started here in Oregon, they can just do a quick Google search, something like that. That will bring them to our OLCC website. It'll give them a quick overview of this is our process, and then it ends with an email. That email goes directly to the business services team, where we will then answer any questions and provide them with our listing meeting form, basically, and that gives them instructions, but a link to officially submit to the OLCC for product listing. We will then review all the documents that they submit to us, and if they're approved, we'll provide them with a presentation date and time. The suppliers will get 5 minutes per item during their presentation to the committee. There are time for questions and answers after their meeting. That is a unlimited time limit. This is an important process, so we didn't want to put a cap on that if there are any questions from the committee. So We would then go down the list. Each presenter would have their turn. Once all of the meetings have concluded, we would then go to a voting process. So the OLCC and those 6 committee members would then discuss each product one by one. Then the committee would decide to approve or deny. So that approval is based on a majority vote from the committee. And once we have all of the approvals or denials, we would then reach out to the suppliers, let them know. And so something that's pretty great for Oregon is it's never a no. It's never a direct, sorry, you weren't approved. It's you weren't approved for a listing, but here are some other avenues that you can go down in order to still have your product here in Oregon. So we have a special order program where any liquor store can order any item. As long as it's legal and viable, we will carry that product. So if they are denied at the listing meeting, I will say, sorry, your product was not approved at this time, but I encourage you to try our special order program to get started, and then maybe present again to us in 6 months once you have some actual Oregon sales numbers. So I think that's a wonderful opportunity for everybody. And, you know, I do enjoy the customer service aspect of this whole thing. So giving people the opportunity is a
Mark,
big thing.
can I ask you a question here?
Yes, please.
What would make you say we're not, what are the criteria that would say that this is not a product we want to list?
So it could be a number of factors. So it could be that we have the market's flooded with this particular item. Maybe the committee feels like it's too overpriced for what it is, or they've even denied something because the bottle was very oblong and shaped oddly and it wouldn't fit on the shelf very well. And they just would say, I have no place for it. So these are all critiques that I would actually go back to the supplier and tell them this is the reason why they denied it. So I always get the reasons why. That way I can provide that to the supplier. Hey, the committee felt it was overpriced. The bottle was a little misshapen. You know, there's too many vodkas in the market right now, and this one just didn't stand out.
Sure.
Thank you. Commissioner Hayes.
Maybe I missed this, but you talked about how you rotate listing committee members, but how do you choose listing committee?
Thank you for the question. The listing committee is selected by the Retail Services Assistant Director. They are in charge of all of the district managers. So they give me a list usually around October, November time. This is next year's.
So do people say, consider me, or do you just?
I believe they do. I believe some agents vocalize that they would like to be part of the committee next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And how many of our agents do you have on the committee? The liquor store agents?
It's 6 agents right now, 1 from each district.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, please, fire away. So with that being said, that's pretty much all of the listing meeting, but that's not the only way to get listed here in Oregon. We also have another process. So this is for maybe the more popular items that can just be approved without the need to go to the committee. So if a new Crown Royal flavor were to come our way, or a new Fireball or something like that, something that we know the parent item sells very, very well, it would pretty much be an automatic yes from the committee anyway. So we, of course, do our research, make sure that the parent item is within specific criteria, and then we would approve that item then and there, just to kind of get the ball rolling. So they don't have to wait maybe a couple months for a meeting, and it wants to be in market during the summer because that's when it's going to really take off. So there are you don't just have to go to a listing committee. You can reach out to the business services department directly. And if we do not approve it, then we would probably suggest go to the listing meeting and let the committee decide on this product. So that's pretty much it for the listing meeting and the listing process. Are there any questions before moving on?
You're gonna move on to delisting?
Actually, I was going to talk a little about the holiday listing.
Okay. Well, delisting, maybe I missed something there when you.
Oh, I was going to get to that after
All
the
right,
holiday listing.
go ahead.
Oh.
Keep on your schedule.
Okay, so the holiday listing meeting, this acts similar to the listing meeting that I spoke of before, except there's only one per year. So this is where all of the suppliers would get to present their holiday items that they're going to bring in, usually September through December. This is your gift packs or your special eggnogs or spiced apples, something like that. So there's only one per year. The same committee still decides these products, but the suppliers don't actually present to us as they would with the normal listing meeting. They provide me a packet of all of the holiday items that they're offering for us for the entire year. This includes a picture, the price, what it is, how many they're going to provide to Oregon, because there's usually limited allocations of these items. I would then put it together in a PowerPoint presentation and then share that with the listing committee. We would then just go through each item one by one, having discussions, approvals, denials, and the amount that they would like to bring in for this year. So the committee traditionally accepts these based off of institutional knowledge, sales history from the previous year. So last year, maybe our pumpkin didn't do very well. So maybe they avoided, the large amount of pumpkin items that were presented this year. But for the most part, through the holiday listing meetings, usually about 80% of the items that are presented are approved. So, but they do speak for all of the liquor store agents, the committee, so that what they approve will be available for all of the 285 plus liquor stores. So are there, just to mention, there are no upcharges allowed for holiday items. That would mean if you had your Grey Goose with 2 martini glasses, that must be the same price as your regular bottle of Grey Goose. There's no upcharges allowed. You cannot price those over. That's why we call them value added packs. So no additional upcharge. Are there any questions about the holiday listing? So now we're moving on to the delisting process. So every 6 months, the business services team will review every product that is listed, that has been listed in Oregon for at least 12 months. So before we even consider delisting things, we make sure that it has at least been in the Oregon market for 12 months. We will then highlight the items that do not meet our net profit criteria. And then we will issue a warning to those. So we do not delist them after their 12 months. If they're under the net profit, we send them a warning saying you have 6 more months to get this product above the net profit. If it still continues to be underperforming, then it is subject to delisting. So it's never a quick, fast, turn it off. We give everybody the opportunity to improve their sales. And we've actually received a lot of positive feedback about our delisting process, and people really enjoy that 6-month warning and the opportunity. So if after 6 months, the product is still underperforming, the OLCC will then give the supplier the option. We can delist this item, or you are welcome to move this over to our special order program. If they choose to move it to the special order program, then they will still have to remove all the bulk storage that they have in our warehouse to clear up that room, but they can still provide us those cases on a case-by-case basis based on liquor store orders. So the delisting criteria for non-Oregon made products, 17,500 for a major category. So a major category is your whiskey, your gin, your vodka, and then 12,500 for a minor category. The minor categories is your niche items, your cordials, your cocktails, your, not typical items. So that is what they must hit after being in the market for 12. Next is the delisting criteria for Oregon made products. So we have a wonderful program for Oregon suppliers. Their net profit minimum is $1,250 over the rolling 12 months, with their minor category being $750. So they just have to hit that number. If they don't, well, Oregon companies are allowed to carry 3 underperforming products with us at any given time. So if they have just 3 items listed with us, they all underperform, they're not going to hear from us because they're allowed to have those 3. So it's great support for them. If they have 4 Oregon-made products and one of, all of them are under the net profit, we will then give them a warning and say, you have 6 months to get this up. If not, you will have to select one of these 4 items to be delisted. But it goes the other way. So if they have 3 items listed with us, 2 of them are under the net profit, but one actually achieves the 1250. They are allowed to then carry 1 additional product with us automatically. No listing meeting, no anything. They just automatically get an additional listing with us, and that can go so on and so forth until, until they have 3 that are under. So I think it's a great program to support Oregon businesses and things like that. So Oregon suppliers definitely get a huge benefit with us. Any questions about the delisting?
I do have a question, Commissioner.
Commissioner Ward?
So what would be the benefit of a business carrying a product that is underperforming? If they swap out the underperforming products to carry something that is a known performer, why would that not be an automatic?
Thank you for the question, commissioners. Could you maybe elaborate a little bit more on?
When you talk about a business having a product that is underperforming,
Mhm.
why would you carry that product if it's underperforming, if the goal of your company is to make a profit?
To give them the opportunity basically to get that. So maybe they have something in mind a month or 2 down the road saying, hey, we have this great partnership. We're gonna partner with the Portland Timbers, and this is really gonna make business boom or something like that.
Got it.
And that's the reason why we still give them the 6 months and the warning, and it's really up to the supplier and it's their business practice, whether they want to continue supporting an item that underperforms or not. We basically will just delist it after basically 18 months of it being in stock in our warehouse. If it's not profitable for us, that's why we delist it or move to the special order program.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Okay, so next slide. So this is just kind of our March delist notification. So I just sent the warnings out in March. There were 241 total items. Through those 241, those were from 64 different suppliers. The top 10 suppliers accounted for 46% of potential items with 112. So our top earning suppliers had about half of those items that were on the delist notifications. Bigger companies usually take a little bit more risk and put more items out in the market. So there's maybe a larger failure rate there. So the top 3 categories on that list, domestic whiskey with 43 items, vodka with 43 items, and tequila with 32 of those items. So there was 1.2 million of net profit potential below performance total. So if you just take all those negative numbers, that equals out to about 1.2 million was underperforming.
Mark, excuse me, when we delist, and some of these major suppliers, do they come pick up their stuff then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's out of our warehouse. Okay.
It gets out of our warehouse, and that is one of our criteria. If you are delisted or you move to special order, you must remove all the inventory from our
Thank you.
warehouse, creating space for the new items. All right, and this is just kind of a snapshot of our listing and delisting. So in May, our most recent listing meeting, which was May of 2025, 58 products were submitted to us. 22 of those items were approved. 110 holiday items were presented to us. 83 were approved. And the delistings, I kind of just went through that. 241 items. They were all at the warning phase right now. We're going to evaluate again and send them their final delisting notifications in August. Right. And this is just a snapshot of the new items that were approved at our last listing meeting. So that's just kind of the full list. Those was 4 tequilas, 10 canned cocktails, 2 ready to pour cocktails, 3 whiskeys, and 3 gins.
Mark, do you know what percentage as local distillers of these products
Overall,
overall?
oh, I don't. I could give you an approximate amount, but.
That's okay. I just was kind of curious how much impact we have, how we can help them.
Sure, and I could get those numbers to you.
Okay, oh, thank you.
Absolutely. And this is just the approved holiday items. So out of the 110, 83 were approved. 55 are value added packs. That's your standard items like the Maker's Mark that come with a couple glasses or things like that. 22 unique seasonal items. That would be your eggnogs, your Evan Williams spiced apple, things like that. And 6 multi-packs. That's usually where a brand will combine their 3 flavors of whiskey into one package and give them at usually a pretty decent price. Right. And to close things off, I just wanted to highlight the top 10 highest earning items. This is June 24 through May 25. So this is a full year of sales. So Tito's doing very well, as is the vodka category as a whole. Jameson, but Rose City also made the list twice, which is pretty wonderful. They are a local Oregon supplier, so that's always good to see. Any questions?
For sure.
No.
Mark, thank you.
All right, thank you, Chair Doherty. Thank you, Commission. Have a wonderful morning.
You just keeping an eye on him, Oliver? Is that what? Then Alan. We're going to have a distribution center update from Alan Rowe. Thank you, Alan. Good to see you again.
See ya. Good morning, Chair, and members of the commission. For the record, my name is Alan Rowe. I am the Distribution Services Assistant Director overseeing the operations at the warehouse. I'm here today. I'm going to share with the commission some of the distribution center production values for the second quarter of 2025. I'd like to start off with just once again refresh everybody's mind with the amount of staffing that I've got out in the warehouse. I have a total of 60 employees between the 2 shifts. And there's the breakdown between the day shift and the swing shift. Nice picture of all the hardworking men and women from the distribution center. And currently we are looking at about 2 vacancies, technically both LDW ones, liquor distribution worker ones. That category is actually broken down into one regular worker one, which does belt work and replenishments, and the other being an equipment operator, so a forklift operator. Speaking of vacancies, I'm about to have another worker 2 vacancy. And I'd just like to point out, probably the most senior employee of the OLCC has announced his retirement. Unfortunately, he's already gone. He's burning up some vacation towards the end of his time. So he's not with us today to give a nice shout out to, but I still wanted to bring your attention to Mike Holman. Hired in August of 1986. I think he may have been on the property when we built the building. Just put him to work since he was here. I'm not sure how that worked. Anyways, he rose through the ranks of the operations of the warehouse. He's been a worker 2 and a receiver for many years. He's got lead work experience. He's a CDL holder, drives our truck between the 2 buildings. All around go-to guy. He can do any job in the warehouse and does without question. When I asked people around the warehouse, around the building about Mike, I got words like personable, friendly, funny, and mostly respected. He is a source of, once again, going to be a sad loss because it's a huge source of vast information that has anything to do with anything out in that distribution center. I still would ask him questions on how something works out there once in a while. Matter of fact, he's known, at least in my mind, as the man who knows too much. He was actually my trainer for our WMS, our warehouse management system, our inventory system, when I first got my job here 18 years ago. And to learn from that man was a pleasure and a challenge. Because one bit of information came with a bucket full of backup information. But he's an amazing guy. He will definitely be missed, and we wish him the absolute best in his retirement. Little typo there. I've got July 31st as his official final day. I've been informed it's actually August 1st, which is he's going to return here in time for his retirement party at Pietro's Pizza in Milwaukee. If anybody'd like to drop by.
Oh.
So just like Stephen, thank you, Mike, if you're listening. And watching.
Thank you, Mike. I got to meet him at the groundbreaking, and he has a wealth of information, and he actually corrected me on the talk that I was giving. I had some wrong dates in there, so
That's my.
I can appreciate his value there. But he looks much too young here to retire.
You know, that photo is probably about 26 years old as it is. But it was the best I could find. So anyways, I just wanted to give a special shout out to Mike before I continued on with my production values. Moving on, thank you very much. Just a little update for the second quarter of 2025, we had 3 days of note that I'd like to make mention of. We were closed on Monday for the holiday of Memorial Day. We worked a Saturday to make up for that particular day on May 31st. We worked another Saturday on June 28th, and that was to make up for the pending July 4th holiday. Month per month, production days, actual working days were about the same from month to month, from 24 to 25. 1 extra day there in June, which does kind of throw off the June bar charts. You'll see that June's numbers look a little higher than 2024's, and that's truly because of the extra production day. It's an extra 15,000 cases in, it's an extra 15,000 cases out. Orders, the amount of orders we're actually handling this year is increased over last year. We attribute that to, well, mostly it's a couple of things. One, there's more stores than there were this time last year. And number 2, there's been a lot less order cancellations. Last year, market was pretty soft. We all knew that. And a lot of stores would cancel their weekly orders just because they didn't need them because their sales were down. We've had much fewer cancellations and a handful of new stores. So our orders being processed has actually increased quite a bit. Cases received and cases shipped are still pretty static from the previous years. Except I said, like I said, in June, which had an extra day of production, which is why you see the June numbers in 25 looking a lot higher than 24. On a daily average, still pretty much the same moving forward. Okay. So this is the year to date so far. So this would cover the whole first half. And you can see that we processed in 25 another 420 orders over 24. Increase of 5.7%. Excuse me. Let's try that. Cases received in 25, 1.823 million. A 0.7 decrease. This is just a slight downturn from 24. We worked very actively on keeping our inventory to a manageable level. Trying to maintain certain weeks supply of each item. Depending on its classification, whether it's special order, trial listing, or a regular status item. Thanks again to Mark Avent and his staff with the delisting process, helping me clear the space in the warehouse, the new products that are constantly flowing in. Cases shipped out 2025, 1.747 million cases so far, which is a 2.46 decrease from 2024. That is actually we're pretty close to the national average, which is a 3% downturn in sales and shipments overall. Oregon is slightly better as compared to nationally, but not by much. We're about a 2.5 as opposed to the 3.2 that I think is the new national average. But still keeping on pace with the general national trend. I've got a chart much like Mark Avent's. These are the top 10 moving items. So this is warehouse depletions. These are not sales, so I'm not tracking dollars. But you'll see that it's almost an identical list of the one Mark just showed you previously. It's just in a different order. It's filled with a lot of Tito's, Rose City, and Platinums. And like I said, these are not based on dollar sales. This is just based on cases moving out of the warehouse. Rose City, our Portland native, was actually the number one moving product so far for the first 6 months of 25. Moving on to inventory. My warehouse volume at the end of the second quarter, my inventory stands at 498,000 cases, which in my mind is actually exciting to see that blue chart dip on below that orange line. I explained in previous talks that orange line represents 80% of an absolute maximum storage. We had consultants tell us exactly how many cases my warehouse can hold. And for an efficient warehouse to operate well, you should be at about 70 to 80% of your maximum, because you need that room to be able to move new product, get rid of old product, slot new items, and move product around the building on a daily basis. So that's what that orange line represents. That's 80% of my absolute maximum. So anytime the blue gets below that orange line, I'm running much more comfortably, as opposed to the 104% capacity that I tend to run. And the inventory value is pretty much going to just mirror the inventory values. Let's see, that same inventory that I just told you about had a cost value of $59,881,000 with a retail value of $112 million. Just another point, we constantly are trying to keep stock levels within our optimum operating range, monitoring vendor shipments, make sure that they don't overstock us, the delisting and removal, maximizing warehouse usable spaces, trying to use actual spaces as opposed to storing product in places where it shouldn't be. Warehouse capacity currently is at a very comfortable level, and we'd like to try to keep it there. So we're working with our suppliers very closely, with making sure that we monitor how much inventory they're sending into the building.
Sure.
Commissioner
And I
Just-
think
just
that
one-
about
Alan?
wraps that up.
Are there any safety issues associated with being over capacity?
Safety issues,
Yeah.
we obviously are, that's our number one priority, right? Is the safety of the people in the warehouse, and of course, the safety of the product. We will not do something as silly as to put product where it's going to become a safety hazard. So there's only so much space that we can, store product in and store supplies in. You'll not see us put product in the middle of aisles or in a tripping zone, or something like that. So safety is always going to be a consideration when we're looking at places to store product. We look at creating spaces vertically. We still have a lot of space between top racks and ceilings, and we try to figure out how we can get more product on upper levels of racking. We try to use every available floor space and turn it into organized storage and racking systems. We will not put, just product just slapped in the middle of an aisle or down a wall or something like that. That's going to be in a forklift's way, a pedestrian's way, or a tripping hazard. So safety is going to always be number one when considering just about anything out in our house.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And as always, I would like to, I know we have some new commissioners, and I would like to extend the opportunity for a tour of the warehouse at any time. And if you've been out there before, I would still love to show you the warehouse and what it looks like and what we're doing out there. So open up invitation at any time.
Thanks, Alan. Appreciate it.
Thank you all very much.
Okay, so now, Brian. Back here. There you are. Didn't see you back there. Oh, Brian. Retail services.
Morning, Chair, Commissioners.
Morning, Brian.
For the record, Brian Aker, Interim Director of Retail Services. Today we have one store appointment for new agent for your consideration. And that's for 1199 Portland Center, the store nearest to Portland State University downtown. And a reminder, the finalists, we have 3 finalists. They'll have 8 minutes to present their proposals for you to consider. So up first, we have K-BAM LLC with Kim Rothenflith as the agent representative. And right now,
Good morning.
Good morning. We're just getting the timer set up for you, so
You can have one too, yeah.
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah. Give one.
I've got an 8-minute timer here and I'll give you a warning at 7.
If we ask you questions, it'll take
Then I'll-
over that.
I'll stop it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you can go ahead and move on to the next slide, please. So start whenever. Good morning. Thank you for the invitation this morning for us to present our proposal to you today for the Portland Center store. My name is Kim Rothenfleth. I'm from Milwaukee, Oregon, and this is my business partner, Brett Moore. He's also my nephew. We represent K-BAM LLC, which was established in 2025. A little about us. I'm currently employed as a financial analyst at a healthcare organization that provides health insurance and other related services to over 2 million people. I currently support our procure to pay system or our ERP for non-premium products. My prior experience was at a local building products company. I was the operation manager there for 3 sales divisions. I led a team of 20 comprised of both administrative and sales professionals while managing each division's financial operations. I also helped transition 8 distribution centers across the United States over to one unified corporate ERP system. That work comprised of converting products and SKUs, corporate training, and several inventory cycle counts and audits. Brett?
My name is Brett Moore. For the past 6 years, I've worked at a local law enforcement agency and I'm currently a detective. I have 3 years of general accounting experience working at a local accounting firm to include bookkeeping, tax preparation, and payroll processing. Prior to that, I have 6 years of retail experience selling aquatic gear at a local aquatic center. Next slide, please.
For the sake of time, I'm going to summarize as much as I can, but you will have a handout to refer to for specific numbers and stats. Our mission is to provide excellent service with a wide variety of spirits, to operate efficiently and effectively, and always represent our partners with dignity and respect. By doing so, we feel that will position us well for long-term growth and success.
Next slide, please.
We had the opportunity to go to the store and meet with Todd, the existing owner, and Lila, the store manager, and we discussed a lot of different topics with them about the store, how it runs today, and we learned just a ton from them. Their store today is all about service, working with other stores, taking care of their customers, doing special orders and transfers. The security in the building right now is great. Theft is almost non-existent in that store. They do cycle counts regularly with very little shrinkage. In addition, we also learned that they've had a hard time bouncing back after COVID. The store does operate well, but there's room for growth. The staff works very well together and they have top-notch service, which leads to their high customer loyalty. So by focusing on our opportunities and working around the weaknesses and threats, we feel we can begin marketing and bring ourselves quickly. We also did research on the liquor sales in the Portland metro area. We wanted to get an idea of our store's growth compared to others. And what we learned is there's over 1,100 bars in the Portland metro area today and over 2,100 restaurants. And after doing this research, and knowing that Portland is starting to open up again, that just solidified the fact that we have a lot of room to grow in the Portland metro area, as well as our peer stores.
Next, please.
Our plan, excuse me, to get us there. First thing to note is this store is right next door to a plaid pantry, and we're not planning to compete with the basic bar of beer, wine, tobacco sales. In addition, the store is really small. It's only 1,600 square feet. So there's really no room to expand our footprint or add too many new products today. So our focus is going to be to work with what we have in order to begin our growth journey. First and foremost, we want to maintain the existing staff, continue superior service, their security precautions, ask for feedback from peers and licensees, and meet each of our licensees, research, and begin researching new licensees and starting to meet and greet and grow that side of the business.
Next slide.
We plan to extend the store hours, improve signage and end cap displays, rearrange coolers to incorporate some higher end beer, wine, and ready to drink cocktails. We plan to build and implement a marketing strategy and social media presence focusing on current trends, post in-store events, partner with local celebrity bartenders, create videos for trending cocktails, and institute a passport program for our consumers to go to existing licensees venues and get a stamped to then ultimately be entered into a small prize.
Next slide.
We prioritizing selling is key and selling responsibly. We are going to continue ongoing staff training and education. We're not planning on breaking anything that's not, or fixing anything that's not broke. We're going to expand our sales and focus on keeping our customers, our licensees, and our potentially new licensees happy at all time. One thing we can't ignore is this lease is up in December of 26, and the existing store is too small at 1,600 square feet. So we've done a bunch of research and we determined there's one of three things that we can do to help improve our sales and expand our product selection. First one is no change, stay where we're at. Second, expand the location into the empty store next door. 3 is to move locations. If we go with option 1, no change to the location, we'll just have to work within our parameters, redesign the store layout, add new signage, end caps, upgrade shelving and gondolas, upgrade security features, reevaluate product selections like high quality products that aren't sold at Plant Pantry today. This will cost us an additional $20,000. If we expand and remodel into the vacant space next door, and by the way, we spoke with the building owner and he's open to us doing that. That will give us another 2,000 square feet. At that point, we'd be able to upgrade the entire store layout, add new signage, bigger and elevated end caps, new shelving and gondolas, adding a humidor, growler fills, adding additional coolers, increased backroom storage, and that will all allow us to expand our product selection. And we will continue to focus on our social media presence for trending items. That will cost us approximately $85,000.
Next slide.
If we move, we looked around and we found multiple locations. We're going to just focus on one due to time, but this was our favorite so far. This building has about 6,700 square feet. It's on a transit line close to office buildings and apartments. It's within the PSU campus. There's parking and delivery options in the back, and it's large enough to grow and expand our inventory in both spirits and non-spirits because we'll no longer be competing with a Plant Pantry. And we'll have the opportunity to grow our sales and products. This is going to cost us up to about $200,000. The next slide is just to show you it's a 5-minute walk to this store, but it's still on all the transit lines, very close. So, renewal or remodel or move, our long-term operational plan will always, yes, ma'am.
1 minute.
Oh, thank you. Our operational plan will be to grow our consumer and licensee sales, continue to refine product selections that turn, and keep our up with our social media trends. We will develop and execute a comprehensive plan for the renewal, remodel, or move. The buyout cost for this store is approximately $170,000. No matter which option we choose, 1, 2, or 3, we will still have some revenue coming in at that time to help us offset some of the costs of remodeling. Our transition plan is a seamless one for the staff, customers, and our licensees. Again, the store is run well today. That's not going to change. Brett and I are going to get up to speed with all of the daily operations. We will work with Lila, the store manager, to meet each and every licensee today and grow them and get into new licensees before, during, and after any expansion or move. The store employees will become a family with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Director, Chair.
Forward.
So what has prompted this desire?
Well, I wanted to do something like this for a long time, and my nephew, he is a mix master. He loves to make cocktails. He's into the research. I'll let you explain. He really loves cocktails. And
So going to school and things like that, you learn about history and everything. And I started to learn that like liquor is involved in all of history. You know, George Washington brought Applejack to America. that's pretty cool. You know, you learn about Elijah Craig, you learn about all these things. And there's always been liquor, people coming from Europe to America. That's where the gin and tonic got created. Just things like that got me kind of interested. And then I realized go work at a store and share that knowledge with people. And it's pretty exciting.
He will be a mix master on videos too, doing little social media presentations.
Yeah.
And I'm his aunt, so I want to be part of it.
Yeah, so then growing up with her, when I turned 21, I was like, try this, look how cool this is. Let's go to the liquor store and see if we can find this thing. And then we just, that's so much fun for us. Why not do it for a living?
Right. Commissioner Bennett?
Question. You're so near a college campus. Can you talk a little bit about things that you would do to mitigate having under 21-year-olds in your store?
Yeah, there was signage today that we don't sell below this age. Selling responsibly is going to be key, ensuring we are always checking our customers as they come in to purchase something. You go to.
Yeah, so I think instituting an under, if you look under 40, that's when you're gonna get ID. But then the other concern is gonna be the shoulder tapping outside of right outside of a place. That location has no loitering signs, things like that, which now gives the business owners authority to be like, you need to get out of here. You can't just be sitting here waiting to ask an adult if they can come in and buy you some liquor. So I think being cognizant of the way those things are done, and kind of keeping an eye outside of your location as well, that's going to be a good way to negate a lot of those problems.
And we're going to continue all the education and staff retraining if need be. Anytime somebody comes in, any new things that are out there that we need to research and make sure that we are doing in our store as well to keep everybody compliant.
And then are you planning to retire from the force?
Yes.
So, are you going to, did I hear you're going to keep this staff there now?
Yes,
Absolutely.
we've talked to all of them and everybody is on board to stay with us.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, they've been wonderful. They're excited. You know, when we said, are you willing to stay? They said, oh, yes, absolutely. We're so happy you asked.
Oh, good, good. Question here. So you're not going to be competing with the 7-Eleven? The 7-Eleven's right close or next door to you?
It's a flat country, yeah.
Yeah. So if you fill up your store, it's not going to be in competition with them.
Yeah, so our plan is, either if we don't expand it, which our idea is to get to grow, to go to the store next door. We can stock the higher quality beers,
Right.
wines and things that Plaid Pantry doesn't sell. There's no reason to compete if somebody can go to Plaid Pantry and buy things for undoubtedly cheaper. So we just won't sell the same things they sell.
Right. Very good. That's nice collaboration, cooperation. So,
And is the,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, one more question. Is the plan to take over the spot next door or to combine them?
Combined. They said we could knock down the wall. That was one of our very first questions.
Yeah, our leasing agent reached out to the business owner and determined that when the lease actually does end, and that they'd be open to a 5 to 6 year lease again with that other building and more negotiations as well.
And the lease doesn't end, according to what our agent told us, until December of 26.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excellent
Thank you
presentation.
for your
Very
time.
informative. Good job.
Okay, up next, we have Sandeep Magar.
Welcome.
Hi.
Thank you.
This is just one slide.
Thank you.
This slide. Okay.
Eight minutes. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Sandeep Singh, thank you for having me here today. We can go to the next slide. So it's been a pleasure to come and present here for the first time. I have about 15 plus years of experience as a retail consultant and researcher in consumer behavior. I've been working in improving retail for nurseries, for salad stores. For the last 10 years, I've sold over $5 million worth of salad kits at Safeway and Fred Meyer, just trying to improve the sales revenue for the manufacturers itself, like greenhouses, local greenhouses. Last 1 year has been, I got laid off and I've been working with Mill City, Harry, and just implementing some of my research that we have done over consumer behavior and applying it at that store. So that's the graph that I've shared up there. It's like before we started experimenting with consumer behavior, consumer loyalty, and some incentive programs that we did, we really changed the baseline of that existing store. And yes, there is some variation in the data common with the research implementation that you do, but we actually bumped up the licensee sales over the year as well. So that's my experience. Oh, I can go to the next slide. So I wanted to actually apply some of my research on this store, 1199, which is about a 10-minute drive from my house. It's like the store never recovered after COVID, really. But in 2022, the store did really well in sales, which was 23% year-over-year growth. But that was mostly driven by licensee sales. Consumer growth never actually recovered. Some of the best and poor months, obviously, is holiday seasons and struggles in April and May. I built a forecaster on top of these sales data. I built like 3 different models, and all of them recommends that consumer sales is continuing going down if we don't do anything about the store. What can we do? I did a comparison. Next slide, please. I did a comparison with nearby stores on the 10th Street Polo District and some of the new one on the South waterfront, and I built the same forecaster on top of them. The only store that comes down is like we're going to do low on sale, but it's $11.99. So what can we do? Typical SWOT analysis recommends that stores at a great location, great customer base, great service, but what it lacks is the space, and it's really cluttered inside. Really, people or consumer only goes into the store with the mindset that I'm going to buy this. They don't go into the store and explore. Right. So that's the key point that I wanted to investigate. The building upon strategy is, next slide, please. It's like, what kind of location strategy can I apply to this? I actually looked at some of the major performing stores of OLCC. There's 3 things that are common in $3 to $5 million range of sales. One is they're larger. Second, they're in major road intersection and visible from the road. Third is they're anchored by some major plaza and high traffic area. So that I wanted to take that, apply, and see. Plan A is expand within where the store is to the next 2,000 square foot available space, and again talk to Todd and talk to the lease owners over there. But plan B really here is can I go to somewhere else where there is a major plaza, there is an anchored stores that drive the foot traffic and average daily traffic over there. So the slide that I shared with you, the paper that I shared with you is just an upgraded, because I've been investigating some of this stuff from last 1 week and I finally heard back. The plan A is sort of not going to work. Expansion is not going to work because my strategy around here is expansion, start to sell beer, wine, liquor, and overall tobacco products within that store. But Plaid Pantry, being right next door, has an exclusive within that plaza, and they will not allow you to sell beer, wine. And that's the page over, which actually states the exclusivity. So next slide, please. So when I talk about the current layout, this is what it is. It's 1,600 square feet. You go in there, you only go pick up, buy one stuff, and then walk out of that store. The office and inventory storage space back at the back really doesn't allow you to supply or keep up with the demand, holiday demand. So if the demand goes up by 30% during holidays, how am I going to hold that inventory in my place? So the work gets really cluttered around that time. So your sale there sort of gets affected by not having enough inventory in there. And then proposed layout is this location that I'm sharing in the slide that I handed out to you. It's a CVS anchored store on Harrison Street. The average daily traffic there is about 11,000 vehicles per day. And there's a lot of foot traffic that goes around in that area. There's a lot of, and then there's no convenience store where it won't be bound by anything. But what we're really trying to do with this store is the motivation comes from Wilsonville Liquor Store. As soon as you walk in, I don't know how many of you have walked into Wilsonville Liquor Store. As soon as you walk in, you feel like you want to explore. There's gifts, there's humidors, there's other non-liquor related items that, you know, perceive like, okay, I'm gonna go buy Jameson, but let me explore what else is out there. There is tasting areas, there is sitting areas. So that's what I really want to employ at the store. What we really do here is play with what bring consumer to my store other than what they need. Right, serve them to that point. So if we go next slide, proposed exterior stays the same. We can go one slide further. Exterior is basically just trying to capture the eye of the foot traffic and the people that are driving by. Just have some marketing banners out there, some neon signs that you're trying to sell some cool stuff. Attract really that traffic. If we go further. Hours of operation, the current store is open only 8 hours a day from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and closed on Sunday. I work some numbers on back of the envelope and say, like, if I just increase the hours, daily hours by 3 hours and open on Sunday, this roughly equates to about, 12 customers per hour. And if the average ticket is $30 per customer, you just add $500,000 to just
A minute.
consumer sales. Next slide, please. Timeline and growth strategy, think this about as my 30, 60, and 90 days goal here. First 30 days is really meeting with the owners, making sure the transition plans are going in plan. Our employees feel comfortable, start to meet with them. Midterm strategy is start to finalize your negotiations around the lease extension, get approval on that TA, which we actually got approval for a $30 per square foot TA in that CVS location that I talked about. Long-term strategy is build a website, digital footprint, meet with bar owners and start to increase that. Next slide, please. So the growth strategy, next slide, please. Growth strategy revolves around customer, and this is where the key is. So decline, reduce the reverse decline, stabilize the volatility, and increase the revenue, right? That's the baseline. How I'm going to do that is seasonal strategy. I'll leave that over here. Basically just increase the sales, serve customers, employee retention, and train them into a better way. Have a good security in the system. Next slide.
That's good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good presentation. Commissioners?
How are you funding this?
Sorry?
How are you funding?
Oh, I have savings and for renovation, we're getting about $120,000 in the tenant improvement from that CVS location. And I'm putting about $80,000 to $100,000 in this extra.
Were you planning on replacing the staff, did you say?
No.
Okay.
No,
keeping
no,
the
I
staff.
talked to the staff over
Okay,
there
okay.
and
Thought I heard.
we're just gonna move them on to a better location.
And you helped out the Mill City
Yeah.
store?
Yes,
Did you go by Rosie's Cafe there? Because that's some of the best.
yes.
Best place you can go.
So yeah, I'm not full-time at Mill City, consultant. Once per week, we go there, we look at the orders, we look at the customers and see how they're performing over.
All right.
Yeah.
Commissioner?
Can I ask same question again? How are you gonna keep minors from obtaining?
Oh, yeah, so one of the things is we are right just outside the Portland state border, university border. We're, again, make sure no one comply with OLCC's regulations, especially, have a proper ID checks, have a gate. I'm planning to keep the current layout of the employees that are there. So one of the gate owners always gate opener. There's a person there that also helps at the counter. He actually checks IDs. He actually vets people if someone's outside or not. So we're going to take that same strategy. IDs is the most important one. And then, just talk to people as customer, train the staff extensively.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, our last finalist is Slauson Enterprises, Inc. And Raymond Slauson is the merchant representative.
Thank you all for having me here. Before I get started, I want to thank you for taking the time and listening to some of my ideas here. And feel free to get it going.
Okay.
You can move to the next one. As you know, my name is Ray Slauson. Just a little bit of my background. I got my start working in retail in the 1980s with Fair One Import and as a shoe department manager for Copeland Sports. I transitioned to the back office into accounting. I was a bookkeeper for over 10 years, doing the books for casinos, a hardware store, and a resort out of Lake Tahoe, where I put in my first inventory control system, a POS system there. It was a Linex system, very bulky back in the 90s, to basically track inventory and sales. I was promoted to general manager of a gift and craft company, a medium-sized manufacturer out of Northern California named Gailey Enterprises. And I oversaw about 135 employees and over 20 million in annual sales a year. After that, I transferred over into sales full-time as a regional sales manager for the tobacco industry. I took care of all of Oregon, Northern California, and Southern Washington with over 1,200 accounts, and that includes all 130 plus Oregon liquor stores with a tobacco license. I opened my first store in 2011, Santa Clara Smoke Shop down in Eugene. I sold it in 2015. Then I opened two new locations, one in Newburgh, one in West Salem, which I still have today. And I have 6 wonderful employees, 2 exceptional managers, and I stepped away about 3 years ago. So I still remotely do the books. So I'm still involved. And I think overall, my background gives me a really good overall look at the retail process from manufacturing to end user. And next slide, if you would. So going to the store, I like to break it down into 2 things: consumer sales. And for me, any retail establishment, it's essential to have a good, healthy walk-in business. You know, most of the sales are licensees, but we're losing sales on those consumer sales. And I think the low-hanging fruit there is hours. As we've already talked about, they're only open 48 hours a week, which is Monday through Saturday, 11 to 7. I propose 66 hours. That's 10 to 8, Monday through Saturday, Sunday, noon to 6. And that's about a 37% increase in hours. And that should translate into at least a 10% bump in-store sales. And in my opinion, it should be closer to 15%. As everybody's talked about, the location is not good. There's no visibility whatsoever from the street. We're hidden in the back, and it does feel cramped, even at 1,600 square feet. I was just at Tillamook Liquor Store yesterday, and they have almost the same size, but it's just a different shape. And you don't feel cluttered in there. So there are options for that. I know a lot of people want to move the store, and I've looked at some other places, including the one next to Portland State there, but I don't want to be that close to the college. You know, I run 2 vape stores, and we have an 88% compliance record. And I know the OLCC is looking for 90% compliance, and I would like to push this towards that. I use ID trackers where you got to scan your ID in my stores, and I would do the same thing here, which takes it out of the hands of my employees and puts it right into the scanner there. So we're able to track everybody's age to make sure that we're staying compliant with what the OLCC wants. I also talked to the property management company, and there is that 2,000 square foot space next door. I like that idea, but you can also just lease out 1,000 square feet of that to not rent out so much. The other thing is, part of the lease, I would negotiate street signage, whether it be a banner, whether it be a banister, whether it be like a commercial sign sheet. I would like to do a digital banner where I can advertise my store, my hours, happy holidays, anything I want to put out there. And that's something I would negotiate with the property management company. And I think that's quite doable. Because you got to keep in mind, when you're moving location, there's not a bad location on Clay Street, but there's a whole new ramp up process. And then you're buying all new security bars for the system. It's a big investment. And if you're not really sure about the foot traffic and if it's going to produce, I don't know if it's really worth that. But overall, we can bring in niche products. We were talking about that. Well, there's cigars, there's super premium tobacco that's not carried by Plaid Pantry. There's certain vape products that'll bring people in too. And the thing about all of those is they're high-end products. They bring in high-end customers who will upsell on other items. And none of that's carried at the Plaid Pantry. I know when I was a tobacco rep, I used to do promotions. State Line Liquor, I did one. And I'll never forget that because that was when Dan Aykroyd was doing this Crystal Head vodka, and I got to meet him there that day, so that was wonderful for me. And I also did a promotion at the Lincoln City store. I believe Steve owned it at the time, and he also owned Battleground. And those worked very well. And to really make those work, though, you got to expand that online presence. And currently, there's about 300 something likes for their Facebook page. My stores have almost 1,000 likes, so that if I run a flash sale or a promotion, within an hour, I can have a half a dozen to a dozen people in my store. And that's the beauty of social media. And so I would look at doing that to expand that. You can also look at loyalty programs, 5-star, stamp cards, all those things help retain that consumer base. And just to turn that around. So you're looking at just a 20% increase, will get us back up to that about 1.2 million in consumer sales. And that would be my goal. And so initially going in, expanding those hours, that's low fruit right there. That would be the initial thing. Now, Todd's done a wonderful job of licensee sales. He's really expanded those. And from what I understand, he only has about 25 accounts. So that works out to about 5,500 to 5,900 per store monthly average, right? That's how much they're buying on a monthly basis. So my goal going in there is just to maintain that momentum, take care of those accounts, make sure I'll go the extra mile. Because looking at this, we're all offering the same price. All these agents are offering the same price to every store, right? There's no pricing advantage. So what you're doing in all these licensee sales is you're selling yourself as a representative. And you got to be willing to go the extra mile. And so I want to shore that up with all these 25 licensees to make sure we don't lose any sales with them. And of course, looking for opportunities to add sales, while at the same time trying to expand sales. If we just do 10% more, 2.5 accounts, maybe 3 more accounts at that average, that'll put licensee sales up to that 2 million figure. So I think in 2026, 3 million total is very doable, especially with the expanded hours. So I think number one, my goal going in is to reverse that downward trend in in-store sales.
1 minute.
1 minute, thank you. Let's go ahead and go to the next one then. As you can see, I didn't prepare a whole thing. I did this, and I'm just going to ad-lib it as I go through. But I do believe the OLCC 90% compliance rate, I guarantee we'll get to that, because the first thing I'm going to do is the same thing that I do at my vape stores. I'm going to come in and I'm going to put an ID scanner. Every single person that purchases, just like Plaid Pantry does, has to scan. And that takes that right out of my employees' hands. As far as keeping the employees, I can absolutely do that. My partner, who happens to be my wife of 30 years, she's more than willing to come and work. I also have a wonderful part-time employee who lives in Tigard, and she works at my Newburgh store, and she's already more than willing to come up there and work as well. And all my employees, my shortest employee has been with me 3 years, and they're all wonderful. But overall, I think we can absolutely stabilize those sales and begin to increase those again, and just carry on the momentum that Todd has created with the licensee sales.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Any questions?
Commissioners,
Question.
sure. Commissioner Warren?
You have 2 vape stores. Is that in addition to 2 other liquor stores?
No, I have no liquor stores. I only have my 2 vape
Just
stores.
the vape stores.
Here's the thing. I retired basically 3 years ago. I wasn't ready for that. Any of you guys thinking about retiring? Fair warning. We tend to treat our customers, our coworkers, our clients, our reps as friends. And when we no longer have that, my yard is beautiful. That's all I can say. But I am ready to go back to work. My mother was a cocktail waitress. That's how long ago it was. It was called a cocktail waitress, and she was a bartender. I grew up on the golden age of television, so I always saw sophistication in alcohol. When I used to be a general manager, I used to wine and dine corporate buyers like Michael Rouleau, the Michael Craft stores. We had 3 and 4 hour dinners, and there were always cocktails. And when I was a tobacco rep, I'd fly back to New York every year. We had a store right there on Fifth Avenue, and we'd have cocktail parties, and that's, and cigars and cocktails. And it was that hobnobbing sophistication that I kind of saw with the golden era of television. So I've always kind of wanted to do something like this. I used to know a gentleman, Intergin. He owned 2 liquor barns, and he sold me on the liquor store idea, because the concept is I don't want to compete with big corporations. I'm looking for more niche market items, and that's why I own vape stores as well. So
Thank you.
it's right up my alley, I think.
Commissioners?
And the vaping doesn't compete with the Plaid Pantry?
No, no,
tobacco?
and especially since we killed that bill, they were looking at banning it and only putting these into the liquor store market, which would have been absolutely kind of insane, but that was defeated. So no, and I have nothing to do with the day-to-day operations of my business. My wife kind of handles that. I do some books, which takes about 20 minutes a week.
So how much time would you spend at this store?
Oh, quite a bit of time, at least full time, if not longer.
Where do you live right now?
I live in Tillamook,
That's about a 2-hour drive.
an hour and 20 minutes, closer than my two other stores.
You drive faster than I do.
So just to let you know, I was an outside sales rep for over
Right.
10 years. I averaged 800 miles a week. That's like going to the grocery store for me.
Right.
And I still do that. I commute to my stores all the time. I very much enjoy my commutes.
And you're gonna be, you say, hanging on to the staff there, or are you replacing
If
them?
that's an option, if they want to stay, I'm more than happy to keep them.
Right.
But I do have other staff if needed.
Okay. That's it for me. Anybody else?
Funding?
Absolutely. I make pretty good money at my stores. My father-in-law has offered my wife her $100,000 inheritance, but the truth is I have about $120,000 line of credit on top of 70 or 80,000 cash. So I've got plenty to cover everything.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Well done. So break now. Something here. Commission will now go into executive session to deliberate on the agent selection pursuant to the authority of ORS 1926602A. So that's what we're doing. Thank you. We are back in session. Welcome, everybody. We're now going to talk about retail services and the matter of store 1199 in Portland Center. I would entertain a motion for selection of agent for that store.
Chair?
Commissioner Warren,
I move to appoint KBAM LLC agent at store 1199 Portland Center effective September 1st, 2025.
we have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I would just say thank you all for your presentations. It's a unique situation.
Yes, thank you. Would you take the roll, please?
Commissioner Badge Pike,
Yes.
Commissioner Shari,
Yes.
Commissioner Glenn,
Yes.
Commissioner Hayes.
Yes.
Commissioner Huffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Molitas,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Chair Doherty.
Yes. Congratulations. And thank you all for your presentations. Those were excellent. Please come back. We'll look for other opportunities for you. And now we will move to stipulated settlements. Oh, yeah, thank you. Victoria here? Oh, there you are. Thank you. Please come on up. Congratulations.
Yeah. I'm gonna go from that level to the
Good morning, Chair Doherty, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Victoria Brown. I'm a case presenter in the Administrative Hearings Division. Today, we have 3 settlements for your consideration. One is an alcohol compliance stipulated settlement, and the other 2 are alcohol licensing stipulated settlements. Are there any questions that I can answer before? For all of you?
See here, hold on one second here. This is the liquor or Sizzlin downtown. Can I ask a question on that? Does there previous cancellation, isn't there a husband that was involved with this and he's no longer allowed to be in the business?
Chair Doherty, yes. So this application is for a temporary sales license for a discrete event.
Oh, okay.
And so the applicant's spouse has previously held a license with the commission and received multiple violations on that former license.
Okay.
And so the spouse would like to hold this event. And as part of the agreement with the commission, she has agreed to keep her spouse from coming to the event and from letting her spouse have any involvement in the event. They're known as restrictions, and so if she violates them, those will in and of themselves be additional violations on her record.
Let's see. We don't have divorce proceedings here, do we? All right, that was the only question I had. Thank you.
Want a motion?
Yes, I would entertain a motion, please. Commissioner Hayes.
I move to ratify the stipulated settlement agreement for Azalea Mountain Store as proposed by staff.
Sure, sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner. Chair, I would second. Thank you.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Please take the roll.
Commissioner Badge-Pike,
Yes.
Commissioner Chari.
Yes.
Commissioner Glenn.
Yes.
Commissioner Hayes.
Yes.
Commissioner Huffman.
Yes.
Commissioner Molinas.
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Yes.
Chair Doherty.
Yes. Is that it? What else do we have here?
There's also the two licensing stipulated.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Yes, Commissioner Hayes.
I'd like to make a motion if that's okay.
Please.
Okay. I move to ratify the two licensing stipulated settlements agreements as proposed by staff. Chair.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Take the roll, please.
Commissioner Badge-Pike,
Yes.
Commissioner Chari.
Yes.
Commissioner Glenn.
Yes.
Commissioner Hayes.
Yes.
Commissioner Huffman.
Yes.
Commissioner Molinas.
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Yes.
Chair Doherty.
Yes,
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you, Commissioners.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Lord.
And Nicole, welcome again. We're going to talk about rulemaking here.
Yes. Both friends are with me today.
Oh, Fred.
Good morning, Chair Doherty and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Nicole Blase, and I am the Rules Coordinator for the OLCC. We are here to present two rulemaking actions for your consideration today. We have the initial action for the 2025 marijuana bill and technical rules package, as well as the 2025 alcohol housekeeping and technical rules package. And before I begin with the motions that are before you today, Rich Evans, our Director of Licensing and Compliance, will provide a more detailed overview of the rule packages that you'll be voting on today.
Chair, members of the commission, excuse me. For the record, my name is Rich Evans. I'm the Public Safety Director here at OLCC. One of the directives from our new Executive Director, Director Waziak, is to give more information to you on the bills and the technical packages and the rulemaking that come before you. So, you know, in your position, often you get questions, and oftentimes you would like to have a little more information and a little more direction. And so the staff is always talking about technical packages. We want to give you more information in what that really includes and what bills are out there, and then the process, so that if you get direct questions, you'll be able to answer them. So every time a rules package comes before you, you will get somebody, probably me or other staff, to give you a little bit more information on what the package contains, the timeline, how the process works, and what will be included in it. So you're able to talk to folks in the community and be more educated on what the OLCC is doing and how we're processing through that. So appreciate the time to do this. When you approve the staff to engage in rulemaking, the commission basically gives us authority, and staff begins what's called the RAC process, or Rule Advisory Committee. And so you will hear that term when we talk to you about a RAC. So how do we get people for the RAC? When we announce the RAC or the forming of the RAC, after your approval, we use the GovDelivery platform, and we ask for members of the public, the industries, and other folks to engage in the RAC process or the protocol. And so we deliver that, and we tell them what rules we're working on, and we get people volunteer to come into the RAC. So once we have the RAC, we will provide input to the RAC and refine rule language, and we will meet with the RAC after they're chosen. A lot of times we try to choose RAC members that have specific knowledge on the issues. There's mostly industry members, some members of the public, some members of legislative groups or folks that have input in these issues, and we'll bring the RAC together. Then, once we have a RAC, commission staff will use the input provided by the RAC to refine the rule language and submit, a notice of rulemaking to the Secretary of State. This notice includes the proposed amendments and fiscal impact statement and a deadline for interested parties to submit comments. The notice will also contain a date and time for a public hearing. Once the rules are given out, we have a public hearing in addition to the rulemaking process. So this will be posted for the public. And so we will ask folks if they have any input, any statements or anything they want us to consider for the rulemaking process. Once that happens, we give 2 more weeks at least for public to give their comments on the rulemaking process. And then once that's done, we would forward that to the Secretary of State to be posted on the Secretary of State's website. So you really have a pretty complete process of input through the system. This year, we have the bill and technical package. And basically, I'm going to go through some of the bills that we will be including in this technical package and the details. The first one is Senate Bill 162. And last month, Rosie Shatkin was here, and Rosie gave you kind of an overview of the bills. These are more of a detailed presentation of the bills. Senate Bill 162 removes the pre-kindergarten from the definition of a school. What happened in 2002, an unrelated bill changed the definition of a pre-kindergarten and added it to the definition of the school. And that changed our ability to issue licenses because we must make sure that somebody that is issued a license is at least 1,000 feet away from a school. And so this is a technical package to change that definition back. Rosie worked on this, and so now the definition has been changed back so that we don't have licensees in violation of this rule. Obviously, the definition of a school is a very technical issue, and it's very hard to track. OLCC actually has a mapping position, a GIS position, and we track maps or try to track schools, but the definition of schools and schools that come and go are very difficult to keep track of if you've ever done that, because every government agency defines school a little bit differently. So it's a technical fix for us to make sure that we have the right definition of schools in our language. Senate Bill 558.
So the practical effect is that you can now locate within 1,000 feet of a pre-K.
No, it just defines the definition. So it took it away. So what happened is we had licensees that when they added that definition, the pre-K were within the 1,000 feet. And so they were already operating within that. Because they added that definition, it just takes it away. So it's not part of our definition, so they can continue to operate because they were already cited, and it was a separate rule that changed that allowed, it basically made our licensees in non-compliance with the rule, even though we cited them prior to that. So it's really a change. And what happens, Commissioner, is the change in any type of change of definition of school happens by any other state organization, it will affect our licensees. And so we really watch that carefully. It's very difficult. As you know, some people will start a pre-kindergarten or a preschool or other location somewhere. It's very hard for us to determine where those are actually at. So it's been difficult, to be honest with you, to keep track of all the schools across Oregon for our staff.
They could have a pre-K out of their home or something.
Yes,
like that. Okay,
exactly.
So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's been difficult. Senate Bill 558. This is an industry bill that allows licensed businesses to transfer products at an OLCC licensed event. This is really a deregulation or a relaxing of regulation for the industry so they can do business at a OLCC licensed event. They'll be able to transfer samples through the seed to sale tracking system where they haven't been able to do that In the past, that has only been allowed from their parent location and not at an event location. So this is more of an ability for them to have a little bit more allowability in their business practices. Senate Bill 870 is an exemption of residential addresses for the names of individuals that OLCC has in their system that have marijuana worker permit. So if somebody wants to ask for a marijuana worker permits address or information, we are now exempt, meaning we wouldn't have to provide that information. So it protects workers that are in our system, which is extremely important. Senate Bill 871. This is another technical fix, and it basically requires alcohol retail licensees to maintain invoices of alcoholic beverage deliveries. You're probably asking, well, why would we even be concerned about that? This is about definitions of receipts, and in the last few years, OLCC has been challenged on commerce laws and commerce statutes from interstate distributors, and this is really a technical fix that allows us to inspect items that may be out of state and have receipts and put us really in line with federal law. It's really a complete technical fix. Senate Bill 907. This requires marijuana producers and processors to have a notarized statement from the landowner that during the licensing process to admit or say they have knowledge that their property is going to be used in marijuana production. This is fixed from some issues in Southern Oregon where landowners leased their property and they were not aware that it was going to be used in the production of cannabis. So this is a safeguard placed by the legislature to make sure that the owner is notified. It really won't affect our licensing time or investigation because all we're required to do is it's on the licensee that's applying to provide that statement. Sorry about that.
Can I get you some water?
I'll get you some water.
Sorry about that.
All right.
HB 3724. OLCC has some regulations about marijuana items and how they appeal to minors, attracted to minors, where you can't really name something like Scooby-Doo snacks or things like that, where it could be attracted to minors. But there was a case law through OHA, a case that went through the court system that said or allowed freedom of speech, meaning that it struck down some of our rules of enforcing attracted to minor rules. Sorry about that. And so the industry actually proposed this bill, and it defines appealing to minor and changes ORS 475. We are currently working with the Department of Justice to see how that works with a court ruling, and if it does allow OLCC to go back to enforcing some of the attracted to minor rules and laws, because basically the court has stricken those down. So this got to give an issue and trying to address it proactively. Recently, the governor directed state agencies to update their websites so stakeholders and members of the public could find information on rulemaking. OLCC has already done that. Joy Spencer and Nicole, who's sitting to my right, have already worked through that. So we're already in compliance with the governor's recommendations. And I suggest you take a look at that. They've done a great job of updating our website. One more thing is that the governor, and Rosie talked about this, and the legislature have proposed that a key sponsor of each bill or rulemaking that affects a state agency, we are required to notify them and include them in the rulemaking process that they'd like to be. And so there is going to be an opportunity for lawmakers and their staff to be a part of the rulemaking process for the state agencies going forward, which is a new twist. We welcome that. We believe that that's a good way to make sure that we're aligned with the legislature and the governor's directive. So staff will be working on that through some of the new rulemaking processes. And aside from posting all public meetings on the website, anybody can go to the sign up to get automated emails on rules and updates from the Gov Delivery Service. And that's a good way or an easy way for citizens to stay up to date on what our rules are going to be and how we work through this. I think oftentimes when we come before you, we talk about a rule package. We go away and we come back, but there is a lot of steps in between and a lot of back and forth with the public, our stakeholders there oftentimes. In some of our meetings, there have been in excess of 100 folks in the rulemaking process, giving their information and telling OLCC staff what they do and what they don't like about the rules. And we obviously take that very seriously, and we do listen to what our impacted members of the public and the industry has to say. And so this really is, in summary, is basically trying to educate you on the bills we're working on. I will tell you that it seems like, and Nicole will probably tell you this, from July to December is really a really busy time for rulemaking for us. We try not to go into December every year, but it usually happens. It's one of those things where we try to stay away from the holidays. But we have a very busy rulemaking schedule coming up from July through December of this year. And staff meets regularly to make sure that we are looking ahead, trying to schedule these racks, trying to schedule the public input, posting all the information. So there's a lot of details that go into this, obviously. And I know the chair's, concerned and the director is concerned about making sure that we're including our stakeholders and hearing their voices. And frankly, this is the process that you don't see that happens with, besides us meeting with our folks in the industry on a pretty normal basis. But I feel like staff does a great job on these rulemaking processes. Obviously, not everybody's happy during the process, but at least, during the process, we hear a lot of voices. And I will tell you that when we hear those voices, we don't automatically just ignore that or say, oh, we're going to do it our way. We have taken a lot of time to step back, hear the opposing views, and try to figure out how to make this more business friendly and make sure that we're not just implementing rules to implement rules, making sure that we're hearing what folks are saying and continuing to work through that process. So that really concludes what my presentation is today, but please look forward to more information on some of the bills, some of the rules that we're looking at. We're continuing, and we will be meeting with the marijuana industry to work on some of the bills that were pushed in this legislative session. Some of the ideas, I think we can work on those and come to some conclusion prior to the February session and continue to work with our licensees and stakeholders and making sure that OLCC is very responsive to the businesses and making sure that we are open for business and trying to make sure that we don't overregulate and make sure we're hearing their voices.
Rich, thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions? Yes, Commissioner Hayes.
Thank you very much. That was very helpful. In fact, that's
Sorry about the voice.
I like that kind of soft, quiet.
Joking is what I would call it.
There is that as well. You say tomato, anyway. And it was helpful because some of those I've heard from people and I wasn't tracking on all of those. So I really appreciate it. Thanks for making that happen.
Commissioner Warren.
Speaking of tracking, Rich, you mentioned a site where people could add their information to be notified and updated on bills. What is that?
That's the Gov Delivery, and it's on our OLCC website.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Would entertain a motion?
Oh, Chair Doherty, I need to go through the rules.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Changed it up on you.
Okay, now.
Any further questions for Rich or
Yes, no,
me about the
okay.
rulemaking process?
Okay. Nicole, sorry about that.
That's okay. I can get out of here if you guys want. Okay, I am starting with the initial action for the 2025 marijuana bill and technical rules package.
The Oregon legislature passed several bills that Rich just mentioned during the 2025 Oregon legislative session, which require agency rulemaking to implement. Further, the agency must also undertake rulemaking to respond to changes within the industry and consider whether technical adjustments are necessary. In order to address the 2025 legislation and respond to issues within the regulated marketplace, staff plans to hold several focused advisory committee meetings with industry, public health, and other agency partners to develop rules. This work may require commission staff to separate this rules package into smaller rule actions. Staff will update commissioners as the rulemaking proceeds throughout 2025. Any questions?
Cheers. No? Okay. That it? Now we can go. Are you
I'll
good?
suggested
You've got another
motion.
section here. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. I need a suggested motion from the chair or,
Want it.
Oh,
okay, thank you, Commissioner Hayes.
I move to initiate rulemaking to amend divisions 25 and 26 and hold a rule making hearing at staff's discretion.
Second.
moved and seconded. Any discussion? Take the roll, please.
Commissioner Badgepike,
Yes.
Commissioner Chowry,
Yes.
Commissioner Glenn,
Yes.
Commissioner Hayes,
Yes.
Commissioner Huffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Melinas,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Chair Doherty.
Yes.
Great. And lastly, we have the initial action for the 2025 alcohol housekeeping and technical rules package. The Oregon legislature passed Senate Bill 871 during the 2025 legislative session, which contains several provisions that require agency rulemaking to implement. The topics which require OLCC rulemaking are manufacturer licensee record-keeping requirements and retail licensee requirements when receiving shipments from direct-to-retailer permittees. In order to address these issues and respond to other issues within the regulated marketplace, staff plans to hold a focused advisory committee meeting with industry stakeholders and public health partners to develop rules. This work may require commission staff to separate this rules package into smaller rule actions. Staff will update commissioners as the rulemaking proceeds throughout 2025. Any questions?
Commissioners? Would I entertain a motion?
I move to initiate rulemaking to amend divisions 6 and 10 and to hold a rulemaking hearing at staff's discretion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Take the roll, please.
Commissioner Badgepike,
Yes.
Commissioner Chowry,
Yes.
Commissioner Glenn,
Yes.
Commissioner Hayes,
Yes.
Commissioner Huffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Melinas,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Chair Doherty.
Yes. Is that it? All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Nicole. That's very helpful. And now we will adjourn. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I